Hello, it's Sammy here, and today is a different type of video. I haven't done videos in a while, and when I have done videos, it's about the football that's been going on, because of course the Premier League has restarted. I'm a Manchester United fan, and I've been talking about Manchester United, and I will try and continue to do so, but I also want to do more interviews, and they will be coming out very, very shortly. But today is a video about something that is really hot on topic, very on trend, and it's the return of Mike Tyson and the return of Roy Jones Jr. as they will be heading off and into an exhibition match on September the 12th, pay-per-view in California. There's been a lot of talk about this fight. There's been a lot of talk about the return of Mike Tyson. We've all seen the training videos and how he ferociously looks on the pads for about 20 seconds. And we don't know what we can expect from both Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson. We know how great they were and how they probably went on for too long, especially in the case of Roy Jones Jr. Definitely went on for 10-15 years on for too much, and when he was fighting at Cruiserweight and fighting in Russia and getting beaten by the likes of Enzo McInerney and Mike Tyson getting beaten by Kevin McBride and Danny Williams, that's when we knew that these guys were at the end of their career, and they weren't at the peak of their powers anymore. But they will be fighting each other in an exhibition fight, and there's a lot of talk about if this is good for boxing, is this bad for boxing, is this good for the fighters, is this bad for the fighters. Now, it has been announced by Andy Foster, the Executive Director of the California State Athletic Commission, that this fight is going to be going ahead, because he spoke with Mike Tyson, he spoke with Roy Jones Jr. and he has announced that they won't be wearing head guards, they'll be wearing heavier gloves than usual, and they'll be around 12-ounce gloves, which is good to hear that there'll be heavier gloves, because we don't want any damage. But the headgear, I would have loved to see headgear on them, because you don't want to see any serious damage happen to two fighters that have taken a lot of damage in their career, and you don't want to see them taking damage in a fight that is meaningless. And they are 54 and 51 respectively, so they are at the way end of their career, and they're not, would you be able to call it they're in their career anymore? I don't know if you could, because as I mentioned, you've seen the Mike Tyson ferocious pads clips of 20 seconds. Roy Jones Jr., you've seen him working with Chris Eubank Jr. But can they do it now? I'm not too sure. I don't really want to see it. I don't think there's really a necessity to see it, because you don't want to see two old fighters, two former great fighters, fight off in a meaningless exhibition fight. But if they make a lot of money from it and they don't go for each other and they don't try and take each other's heads off, then it should be fine. Because it's been said that the executive director has said that they don't want to take each other's heads off, and they just want to go in there, really just run around the ring and show why they're legends. And that's good to hear, because you don't want to see any serious damage happen to such legends of the sport. Now, as I mentioned, it is and will be on pay-per-view, and I expect a lot of people to say how many millions of buys this will do and how ridiculous this will be on numbers. I personally don't think it will do as well as some people are saying, because these sort of exhibition fights never really do. You know, you've seen a lot of people do these exhibition fights. Floyd Mayweather did, you know, a little underground one in Japan. Mike Tyson's done an exhibition fight before, and they kind of just, no one really cares about them, because obviously it's an exhibition fight and you're not going to. And at their ages, they're not going to go for it, which is what I want to see. I don't want to see them go hell for leather at each other, because there's no need to see that. And they're not Bernard Hopkins, 49, winning a world title at Athletic Freak. These guys are retired for a reason and were poor at the end of their career because of their age and the way they fight. Roy Jones Jr. is a very athletic fighter. He's unbelievably powerful, and he has unbelievable agility and fast twitch fibers. Mike Tyson was explosive in his peak and his prime. But these sort of guys, they rely on that athletic prowess. So I don't want to see them going at each other. Now, in terms of is this good or bad for boxing, if they just go in there, you know, just a few jabs thrown around, just running around the ring, glorified sparring match really, then I'm more than happy to see that, because you don't want to see any damage being done to them. Pay-per-view, I was always going to expect this sort of fight to be pay-per-view. You know, someone will want to cash into this fight, and I hope they make a lot of money, because they don't need to do this. But in terms of an actual proper fight, I don't think that this really matters for any boxing fans, and no fan should be really getting excited because they're going to see the return of Mike Tyson, and he's going to go on and win this fight and then going to go on to win a WBC world title, which is not going to happen. This is just something that has been done purely for economic reasons, and obviously they want the money, and they probably just want to get the feeling of being back in the ring and that sort of attention again, which is completely understandable. But in terms of an actual serious fight, of course not. It's never going to happen. And I'll be excited to see the response of what people are going to say about this fight. I don't think people are going to be blown away and go, oh my god, this is the greatest fight. But people will just understand it is what it is. Now, I hope you enjoyed that video. Remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this potential matchup. Is it good or bad for boxing? Are you happy to see Mike Tyson back in the ring? Are you happy to see Roy Jones Jr. back in the ring? Let me know. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, as I mentioned, and see you.